Well, yeah, I guess we're doing what the military says, you adapt and overcome. We adapt into new situations, overcoming the frustrations and disappointments that we have to deal with. And everybody was looking forward to playing Virginia. There's no secret about it. Not only Joey, but all of us were. And as a coaching staff, we were just to see where we were at is really important. But we've adjusted. We got back. We practiced almost immediately because a day of travel counts as a day off or a day on. So we practiced then, and we gave them yesterday off, which was great. I got to actually go look at a little football practice for an hour. That was fun. But got a lot of film work done myself yesterday in Oakland. Players got to relax, although it's near finals time, so they had a lot of work to do. So they were all disappointed, especially Joey, but they realized that we got to move forward. Our focus since then has been nothing but Oakland. And we're excited to be back practicing today and getting a chance to play on Sunday. As far as Oakland's concerned, it's a difficult game for the media, for the coaches, for the players, for everybody. I mean, my staff said it best. After watching film on them against Michigan, especially against Oklahoma State, they said, Coach, this is the best 0-6 team in the history of the world. And I only say that because I told you guys every week that COVID is going to come and go. It's going to affect some teams differently. Well, it was 3-4 weeks ago, they had 14 days of quarantine. Coach, players, everybody. So I think they practiced 2 or 3 days before they went down to Cincinnati. They played 3 games in 3 days, got killed by Xavier after 2 days of practice. And then they got beat by, I think it was Bradley and Toledo. And then they go home for a day. They go to Michigan and play their tail off against Michigan, who's been playing really well. And then they had another day. I think they went to Purdue and got killed down there. And then they had 4 days off to practice for once. And they go to Oklahoma State. It's a 2-point game with 5 minutes left. So I'm not trying to make them better than they are, and I'm not trying to make them worse. It's just this. For 20 years we've played or more, and there's been years we were really good, and they were really good. And there's years we were really good, and they weren't as good, and there were a couple years when we weren't that good, and they were good. And it seems like of the 20 or whatever number of games, Greg Campy's a hell of a coach. That's why I play him. And he's got a hell of a program. And that's why I play him. And then they're in our state, and we're friends, and that's the last reason I play them. But this team is much better than their record. They get a chance to practice now. They've had a real good practice time before our game, and I'm expecting that it's not going to be any different than 90% of the games we played. It's going to be a dogfight. They know us well. He prepares well for us. I mean, he's got some guys. When you get a guy that, like Williams, that makes 10 threes in a game, that's scary. The Oladipo, or I'm not pronouncing every name right, gives us problems because he's athletic in there in the post and he can drive you. And I think more, we've run into some unbelievable point guards. And you look at White, from White and Davis, the kids we played against, Notre Dame's kid. All those kids have been really good point guards that have, I think, played really well. You got Western, you got Notre Dame, you got U of D, and every one of those guys have played pretty well. And now this kid Moore runs their team. He's very solid. He can shoot it decent. But he passes well. He's got a great feel for the game, great hesitation moves. And so saying all that, I'm just looking forward to the game. So probably talk too much. Let's go to the questions.
We'll go first to Kyle Austin. Hey, Tom. First of all, wondering with Virginia, are you guys going to try to find a new date with them or another non-conference game, or are you trying to go into the conference play?
I'd like to find a new date with them, but we both run into problems after this week, and now they're in quarantine for a while. So we're trying to get another game going. So it'll leave you guys up to speculation and me up to speculation. And we stuck KP back in his cave and told him to put on that hat he wears, that think hat. We're trying to find a team to play sometime next week. Even though it's finals, I think we can get special exemption for as long as we're at home. So that's what we're trying to do. Whether we'll succeed in that, I don't know. The next couple of days will probably tell us.
And then how did you see your guys handle that situation? Just given that you had gotten so close to it, you had traveled and everything, how do they kind of do
They were great. I told them about 11:15 at night. They were disappointed, but great. I've really set the standard here that the only way we're going to have a successful season if we learn to adapt and overcome the situations. And if, that's a tough pill to swallow. We all agreed, but it was tough for Virginia too, I'm sure. And, as my guys tell me once in a while, there's a lot of people dealing with a lot tougher things than we're dealing with. And so I was bummed out, but I'm not feeling sorry for us. I feel sorry for people that got a lot worse than we do. And we got a pretty good situation going here right now. We're in a pretty good place. We just got to overcome these obstacles. And I was surprised. I thought even Joey, we handled it. I think they know that things can happen and we have no control over. So control the things we can control, and that's kind of the approach we've taken. Yeah, it's a very good point. I didn't really think of it that way. Maybe I'll start using that because it is a good point. Like, we could play a game Sunday and then maybe play Tuesday or Wednesday, and we don't even know who we're playing right now. At least in a tournament, you have an idea of 3 teams you might be playing, one of 3. Now we don't know anybody. And so I'll probably use that as a battle cry if we do find a game. And coming off a disappointment like you do sometimes, you got to get back up on your feet. And so there could be some future value to this. As I told my players, I told Hauser, as big a disappointment, when do you get to play both brothers leading their teams, top 10 teams, this, that, and the other thing? But there will be worse things in life that happen, and it's just a way to try to figure out how to handle them. And so in that respect, you gave me another one I'll try to use.
Hey, Tom, I know everybody's dealing with the same problems of unpredictability, no exhibitions, all of that. But you're doing with a roster that's not 10 freshmen. You've got some experienced guys that have been around the game. I know experience matters every year. Is there more of a value to it now just in trying to manage what's going on a daily basis and with COVID and everything else?
I think there is. I think it's a good point. I talked to Mike about it at Duke. I talked to Calipari about it at Kentucky. He's got even more freshmen than anybody right now. And there's nothing like being able to call, like today, I called my captains in to talk to them about a couple things. And you got Foster's a junior, you got, Aaron's a junior, and Josh a redshirt senior. And so you got some things experienced there. And I think the coach's experience, that's where I think we've got to do a good job. If leadership doesn't do it, how are the kids going to react? So I think that's why we've done all these little things I've talked about, from getting an arcade room in the building to trying to spend more time with our kids, just be aware of all factors. Talk to the parents more often. Be aware of everything from how they feel about basketball, how they feel about life. I heard one the other night that one of the kids struggled in a game, not our team, and I talked to Mel about some kids that he's dealing with now that parents have it, and the kids don't, but how they react to it. And I said, those are all going to be obstacles we're going to have to overcome. The more experience you have, the easier it is. the more mature you are, the easier it is, but it's never really easy. And I think that's why a team, when they go through some adversity, staffs better be there for them, and players better be there for each other. And I think we've done if I'm proudest of anything this year, that's what I'm proudest of. I think we've done an incredible job of keeping everybody together and trying to understand that each kid's going to be going through something different. You know, I got Julius Marble who lost his dad this summer, you know. I've got other kids whose parents have gone through it. I got DJ who lost his dad. You know, it's a lot to do, and that's why for us, my staff, we've really tried to tunnel vision and spend a lot of time with our kids and do a lot of things with them. You know, I think I can beat a couple of them in pool now, so I'm getting better. Not in Xbox, not in Fortnite. I ain't going that far, and I'm not having any Twitter contests with them. So I don't care who's sick and who's not. That ain't happening either. There are some things that are definites. Those are a couple of them, but the other stuff, I think having some kids, having a staff that's experienced, and having people wanting to spend time with people has been a savior for us.
Go next to Chris Solari, Detroit Free Press.
I'm a little thrown off by the Fortnite reference. That's impressive.
I got a 20-year-old too, you know.
I wanted to ask you a little bit about the time that you spent in isolation, and how much did you and Greg commiserate as you were both kind of going through that at the same time?
Well, I did call him once or twice, but and then talked to him after and kind of figured out who had what, as I've done with a lot of coaches. I mean, I've called coaches I don't even know just to give them a little support and also try to figure out what each person has gone through. But, you know, I think for Greg what was hard is, you know, I had DJ and my staff here and my players were still practicing, so I joked about it, but I'm starting to wonder if I should take another COVID 2 weeks because, you know, our guys got through it well. They've been playing pretty well. They practiced well. Well, Greg's kids were in quarantine too, so he couldn't even have his team practicing for the most part. And that's what I think makes it harder for him and made it harder for him. Now he's coming out of it and just in time to play us, you know. But Greg and I talked about it a little bit, but, you know, like, who wants to talk about being stuck in a basement for 11 days, you know? I told you I hate my basement, but I don't plan on spending any time there till spring.
Go next to Audrey Dahlgren.
Yeah, but isn't it supposed to be super clean from all the time that you had from quarantine?
My basement? Oh yeah, I cleaned it. You know, I you know, disinfected it. I don't know why. I already had it, so I don't know why in the hell I was disinfecting it. Nobody was visiting me, but you know, I learned a lot. I learned a lot down there, and yet at the same time, you know, how fortunate was I that I had a place to go to? Some people don't, and so you know, the one thing that I've done this last week is I've really looked at so many people, and boy, hard to feel sorry about long days or, you know, staying in a basement when people have gone through so much more than I even dream of going through. And that's what I'm trying to get my team to understand, you know, and if we can ever get back out and get into the hospitals, and I think you know, we're going to try to do some things by Zoom that we can. I called a couple of people yesterday that were sick, that were alums, and I think I felt better than they did when I got done. You know, helping people is really where it's at right now. And for me, I got my own family, I got my player family, and I got my alumni family. And it's a lot of families, but a lot of love given my way. It's time to give it back.
I wanted to ask you too, you know, the mental aspect going into the year was something that you tried to focus on so much. And obviously conversations that have been happening around college basketball right now, whether it's, you know, should you play, should you not play, mentally from your standpoint, why do you feel it's important to continue to play basketball?
Well, you know, one of the reasons I went over to football practice yesterday was one, to see Mel, give him a little support, And two, just see how they're dealing with it. You know, you got 120 players out there, and it's so different. And football, you know, I mean, man, I remember back 20 years ago, you know, Cedric Irvin thought he was a basketball player. You know, everybody likes practicing basketball. I mean, I played football, I even played in college a little bit, and boy, when you get to those October, November days when it's snowing, like up in the UP, those September days when it's snowing and you're going through football practice, it's hard, you know. Football practice is grinding, it's hitting, it's strength. It's, you know, where basketball, I mean, kids will come in and shoot all the time. I mean, I got football guys that come over in the summer and want to shoot, and it's more fun, I guess. I shouldn't say that, but I think it is. So I wanted to see how they were handling it. And I was really impressed with the job Mel has done and their staff and how they're handling things. And I think personally, I mean, I know there's a lot of controversy out there right now because of comments that have been made. And everybody, remember this, every coach has a couple of X factors. The state he lives in, the county he lives in sometimes, the conference he's in, the university he works for. And then the big one is, you know, how his team feels. And I started calling parents and having Zoom calls real early. I had Zoom calls with my players when they weren't even on campus. We've talked a lot about it since players are back. When the season started, we talked a lot. When we talked about missing Thanksgiving, I talked to them. When I talked about missing Christmas, talked to them. So don't let anybody act like this is a dictatorship where the coaches or the Big Ten Conference is making us play on Christmas Day. This was something, once we decided that our kids probably had to be up here at Christmas, I actually talked to Juwan Howard because he played in the NBA, and you know, there's nothing like Christmas Day in the NBA. So especially then, I said, well, NBA isn't going to be playing then. Let's us take over Christmas Day. And that thing got rolling a little bit. Then the NBA came back. But our players were excited about it. Our players know the most they get at Christmas is 3-4 days would be a miracle. And sure, they want to be with their family. I'd like to be with my family. But again, think about how LeBron sacrificed and those guys making millions of dollars. Think about other people that are in, you know, my players get to stay in a nice apartment in this building that has got everything you could ask for. There's a lot of people don't have that. And I really believe this. I believe everybody has their own right to their own opinion. But there's no way I believe my players would be mentally safer, physically safer than to be right here with us. Sure, their parents are going to miss them, and they're going to miss them, and an aunt and uncle and a grandparent. But we're in a pandemic that has never happened. And our job is to make sure we keep them as safe as we can. And players go home, buddies are going to come over, this and that. There's depression in some areas. You know, again, Lindsay, you'd be the guy to talk to more than I would be on this stuff. But I really believe mentally, physically, emotionally, these players, I mean, we're going to try to do something for Christmas. If I got to dress DJ up as Santa Claus, you know, we're going to try to do something. And we're going to try to make it the best we can make it. And I promise you this, it won't be good as being home with mom. But it won't be nearly as bad as millions of other people are going to go through. And my players are basketball players. That's what they do. And they love to play. And so I think mentally, what was tough was being home 5 months in March, April, May, June, July, you know, and not being able to have a gym to go to. I think we're mentally better off this way. I think that's my opinion. I agree with our state. I think we should be masking up and doing all the other things. But playing basketball, I think, is a mental relief for them. I mean, coming from a guy who sat in a room for 11 days, who I worked quite a few hours most of the time, retirement got pushed back 10 years. You know, what am I going to do, sit in a basement? I mean, not only that I didn't like it, I'm not sure my wife liked it. So retirement for me is way down the line. I've learned something from this, and I use that to talk to my kids and say, my players, and say, you know, What do you think's best? What do you want to do? Well, if one kid said they didn't want to go home for Christmas, I'd have called them a liar. But under the circumstance of how much you have to quarantine, some states you can't even enter. Some places, if you leave the state, you gotta be out 14 days. I mean, they're just circumstances that we don't have control of. And I think we're doing a hell of a job here, and I think we're doing a hell of a job the way we're testing in the Big Ten. And I got nothing but positive things to say about it. And yet I appreciate everybody's got their own opinion. Everybody's got their own kids to deal with. But mine are really doing well. They're feeling well. And we're taking that pulse every single day. And I feel good about it.
No, last question to Tony Paul, Tracy.
Hey, Tom, most of my questions have been answered. You just touched on it a little bit. But Coach K's comments specifically, were you surprised by those comments? And he's kind of taken some heat from a lot of people in the college basketball world. Do you think that's unfair?
Well, I can tell you a lot of things in the last 3-4 years that I thought were unfair, but that's our job to take heat. We get paid to take heat. But listen, when we went down there and played, it was so professionally done. Everything was spot on. They did a hell of a job in their testing and all the things they did. If he feels this is what's best for his team, he might have more young guys than I. Maybe he doesn't have enough veterans around. Maybe their circumstances in their state are different. I am not here to judge somebody else's, especially people that I have respect for. But the only thing that I would question for all of us is basketball players love to play basketball. And they love their family. Hey, we're going to get to see mom and dad. It might not be on Christmas. We're going to get to see the grandparents. Things are going to start going in a better way. I really believe that, if we get this virus under control, we get the shots, if they're coming down the road, sooner or later, good things are going to happen. But right now, I do feel I have an obligation to a Josh Langford or an Aaron Henry or players that are juniors and seniors and might not ever get to play college ball again. And so for us here, this is what we've chosen. For Mike, that's what he's chosen. I don't think anybody should give anybody any heat. I just want to make sure that it's not implied like if you agree with everything he said, don't think that I'm taking my kids away from Santa Claus, or don't think I don't care about their mental health. I think every coach and every state and every county and every university is dealing with it a little differently. I'm not sure I'm crazy about that. I wish we were all on the same page. This unity thing we're talking about, I think it should be with everything. And I think we all have an obligation to help the person next to us. And but if he thinks that's the best way for his team, I respect and admire it. But I just want to make sure, don't take that as I don't care about my team. I don't care about my mental health. Because I've heard that being said for some of us that believe we got to keep moving forward. I have been a mask-carrying, card-carrying guy my whole time. I believe this virus is serious. But I just, for some reason, believe I can control my kids here even better. Because when they go home, it's not that the parents won't control them, but all their buddies are going to want to be around, and some of them are going to be, in different ways, different than others. And so I think this is the safest bet for right now, but that's just my opinion. Up for debate, up for criticism too. But I've done enough homework, and I feel good enough talking to my players that I'm comfortable telling you we're in the best position and best place we can be in. These kids are in the best place they can be in for right now, according to me and them. And we're going to keep moving forward until somebody tells us differently. So I don't think anybody should criticize. I don't think anybody should compliment. I think you should trust that we're doing the best we can do for each one of our situations, because we can't get universally in agreement. I mean, I hate to say this, and maybe I'll get ripped, but we can't even agree on masks or no masks. You know, there was a time we couldn't agree on seatbelts or no seatbelts. The difference is those save my life, a seatbelt. My mask might save your life. And so I'm going to stick with that. I'm not making it political. I'm making it medical. And as I said, I love where we are as a staff. I love where my team is. And I feel bad that we're not going home for Christmas. I feel bad that I won't spend much time home for Christmas. I'm going to do what I think is best for my team and my position here. And I know this. I might have Christmas in May. I'm going to find a way to still celebrate it. It's just going to maybe be a little later, but I'll make up for it. That's a promise. I'll make up for it, have some fun with it, and hell, I could go back to the UP in June and still have Christmas because there'll still be snow on the ground. What the hell's the difference, you know? Masking up.